Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. December 25th, or Monday night for most of us. I had a regular day. I hung out with my brother for a little bit, did some family stuff. For me, it was just a regular day, mind, body, and soul, daily discipline. This is how we get through. I know some of you guys have expressed to me in past videos in the comments that you've given up on women, and that's fine if you want to be what they call MGTOW or incel or any of these acronyms that the internet has come up with nowadays, and you're walking away from the dating scene or from women. That's up to you. That's fine. This isn't your video. You catch the next one. I want to go over a list here that I have of just some helpful tips on your first date. First dates can be really tough, awkward, especially if it's a blind date, if you've been set up with somebody, but any first date's going to be awkward. You don't really know the person, and you may have a lot of expectations. So that's the first rule, is no expectations. Don't have any expectations for this to be the one. This isn't the woman that's going to save you. You don't know anything about this person. All it is a chance to hang out with somebody. It's just a chance to hang out with someone of the opposite sex. You're just going to have an opportunity to hang out with a woman. Maybe a lot of times you hang out with your bros. This time you're going to hang out with a woman. That's all it is. No expectations. You're just going to let them be themselves. You're going to be yourself. If you're lonely, that's fine. You're sick of being lonely. A lot of people are. But don't go into it with any kind of weight on it. But here's some things to think about on a first date. You want to avoid certain topics. I'll talk about stuff that you can talk about, but let's start off with the stuff that you can't talk about. I mean, you do what you want. Everybody has their own opinion on this type of stuff, but this is my opinion on a first date. First date's just about fun, catching the vibe, seeing if there's any possibilities there, but I think it's important to stay away from politics. That's the first one on the list, politics. Don't talk about Trump. I know you're passionate about Trump. Shut up about Trump. Don't talk about Biden or AOC or whoever your hero is. Shut up about that crap. You could talk about all that bullshit on another date. If you get to a third or whatever date, you can bring up all that nonsense that you get into, all your politics and, oh, what happened on Tucker Carlson last night, or what did Rachel Maddow say? Talk about none of that on the first date. None of it. I know for some of you, you're obsessed with it. It's all you think about. Put it out of your head for an hour so you can hang out with somebody. Religion. Don't get into any kind of heavy-duty religion stuff. You may want to scope somebody out, and you may be sitting here saying, well, Sky, I have to know if they're on the same team. If I won't date somebody who has opposite beliefs. Yeah, okay, fine. But you're not talking about dating anybody. I'm just talking about a first date. You don't go into it with any expectations. This isn't your future wife. She's just a person you're going to go out on a date with. So keep the politics, keep the religion off for now. Now this is one that I think guys need more than women. However, I have had women break this rule. Don't talk about sex. Some of you guys don't know how to keep it in your pants. You don't know how to shut up, and you may bring up sex right away. Don't talk about sex. It's creepy. I was on a date with a woman that I had met. She worked at the manager of the coffee shop that I used to go to many years ago. And we would flirt, and we decided to go out on a date. Went on a dinner date to a nice restaurant by the beach, and a little windy, and we sat outside. It was nice. And there was lots of people there. It wasn't very secluded. We probably should have gone to a more secluded place so we could be more private, but it was funny. It was awkward. It was funny. And she, out of nowhere, starts talking about, kind of leans over and starts talking about, and it was windy, so I guess she felt like she had to say it loud over the wind. She asked me about what my favorite, she's like, so what is your favorite sexual position? And before I could even answer, because I was stunned by the question, She asked me, was I interested in anal sex? Would that be something that I would ever want to do? And she's starting to talk about like choking, and I'm embarrassed as fuck at this point. She's talking loud at a crowded restaurant. People at the next table over, man, there was like a family there. They were all like looking over and like, what the hell? What's going on at that table? I told her I don't talk about this stuff. I was like, I can't even answer you. I don't even know what to say. I don't talk about this kind of stuff. You'll just have to find out, I guess. So for you women that watch my channel, don't talk about sex. Not on the first date. Another one that should be obvious, but don't talk about drugs. You shouldn't be using drugs, but even if you're like a pothead or whatever your little vice is, don't talk about that stuff. I wouldn't talk about alcohol either. Maybe you like to have a drink. I don't drink, I don't do drugs. But if you do, don't bring that up as topics of conversation. It's not appropriate. Makes you look weak. It brings a bad element into the vibe. Keep the vibe pure. Now, this should be obvious, but I think it's important to mention. Don't talk about social justice issues, race, abortion, you know, whatever else cancel culture offers that is in that rat's nest. Just stay away from all that Black Lives Matter and Antifa and you know, all that nonsense. Don't talk about it. Your past difficulties, all that shit you've been through. Oh, you identify with it so much and you just can't wait to tell somebody because this is who I am and you have to accept me for who I am. How many of you are like that? You're clutching to your past difficulties, all these hardships of your past. It defines you. You want to show everyone your scars. I'm covered in scars, but I don't go up and show them all. Keep all that stuff, all your traumas and your abuses. Your dad locked you in a closet and beat you. Don't talk about that on the first date, man. You were tied to a tree and whipped in the backyard in your trailer park. Don't bring that up on the first date. And finally, your past relationships. Don't talk about the past girlfriends, your past wife, your failed relationships. That's basically what it is. Because you're single, you're going on a date. You shouldn't be dating somebody if you're in a relationship. So you're obviously single, and you're single for a reason. If all your past relationships were so amazing, well, why are you single? So don't be talking about that crap on the first date. All of that stuff can be talked about little bits at a time later if you feel like that you have a real connection with this person. And this stuff can be negotiated. You go talk about it on the first date, you go into a date like it's a gunfight with, you better be on my side, you better be on my team. If you're not, I'm leaving. Keep it simple, have fun. So, what should you talk about? Well, talk about hopes, dreams, goals. Guys, spend more time listening. Don't talk too much about yourself. Spend an hour hanging out with this woman and just listen for the most part. Reaffirm, validate, nod, smile, make little comments of wisdom when you have them. I'm not going to avoid talking about yourself, but don't go into, oh, this is my time to prove to her who I am. Don't have any expectations on this. You only want to prove who you are, how rich you are, how successful you are, how much you've been through, when you have all these expectations and you're trying to present yourself as some sort of prize. You don't care how this ends up. If you never talk to this person again, so what? All it checks up to be is I hung out with a beautiful woman for a couple hours one night, got to know each other. Mind, body, and soul topics are good topics. Switch out the politics conversation for the poetry. You might have to go read a couple poems before the date so you have something to talk about. Food for thought.